let's go. Heroes of the Storm balance patch notes February 12th, 2020. Heroes of the Storm has just been updated with hero balance changes. Read on for more details. Okay, wow, so many hero changes. Oh, okay, I'm gonna bring back an old tradition. In the past, when I did Heroes patch notes previews, I would make a prediction based on my understanding of the meta and the respective strengths of every hero, which heroes get buffed and nerfed, and then see if it's on point. It's funny, they just touched Cho. I'm so surprised to see it again. Here's gonna be my guesses. Cho, buff and nerf. Morgana's nerf. Muradin buff, you guys tipped me off. Stitches buff. Tyrael buff. Deathwing nerf. Malfurion nerf in his most oppressive form, but buff in talents that nobody used to use and still won't use. Abathur, remove Mule. For the love of God, I hope so, but that's just a really random guess. Zarya buff, and I'm gonna play her. Ariel nerf. Malfurion buff. I think he's good, but somehow we don't see him a lot. But I think they're gonna buff him in ways that won't matter. Very random guess, but I kind of like the gambling here. Uther nerfing his stun machinery, maybe, but I find it hard to judge. Maiev buff. She got dumpstered by the last changes. Azmodan again? I'm so surprised. Buff in 3 underperforming talents. Phoenix, I'm gonna say we don't see him a whole lot, but I feel like he's good. But I'm gonna say buff for that reason, because we don't see him a lot. Cho'gall buff. Jaina, I'm gonna say buff, even though I don't think she deserves it. Raynor, buff 2 unused talents, and Hammer rework number 10, I hope, which will end up being a buff. Alright, let's go. Cho, Calloused Hide, new functionality. While under 60% max health, Cho receives 15% additional movement speed and healing received. Before it was always healing, right? No matter their health. Enraged regeneration. Each time Cho damage to enemy heroes, he is healed for 60 over 3 seconds. Enemy heroes hit by Cho'gall's Dread Orb receive less healing. That's really good. That's very strong. Mal'Ganis. Health reduction, health regeneration reduction, Carrion Swarm increasing cooldown, and less damage. He's been slightly too powerful, so we're toning him down just a bit. So far, this is... I don't know if this is a buff or nerf. I think it's both. But I think it's more of a buff. This is a nerf, obviously. Muradin Dwarf Toss. Armor amount +5. Okay. Okay. They're trying to sell that. Let's jump in like a madman. Block is now gone. Oh. I'm glad I picked block twice yesterday when I played Muradin. Last chance. I've now been blocked from doing so again. New talent, Dwarf Block. Casting Dwarf Toss grants Muradin 4 charges of physical armor against the next enemy hero basic attack. These charges, that's pretty good, man. That's a pretty big buff block. That's better than this one. They're really going in with that. I'm a dwarf, I'm here, I jump in, and I'm gonna be really hard to kill. And they also buff heavy impact. Wow, this is all very linear towards please jump in and don't save it as an escape. Which is really good considering I'm playing at silver. So I think it's gonna really help those guys. He's a staple, doesn't need a lot of charges. Alright. Stitches. Slam slow amount increased from 40 to 45%. Patchwork Creation, which is that healing amplified. And he also gets healing from minions and heroes dying. Interesting. Fishing Hook is now earlier, level 13, to get those long distance hooks. That's a buff. Definitely off with my predictions here, but hard to predict Well, I said buff, actually. I didn't say how many. No, it's on point. This is all big buffs. Meat Hook is the... Meat Hook is the... cooldown of Hook, isn't it? Cooldown repetition at 16. No longer has a 4-second restriction after hitting heroes with Hook for its proc to reapply via basic attack. No longer has a 4-second restriction. So before, after you hook, and then you reapply... Wait, it was... heals from basic attacks on hook targets. Okay, no longer 4-second restriction. So it's kind of like an infinite butcher brand now, if you hook someone. I mean, whatever. You're gonna take auto attack talent, mother trucker, at level 4 with stitches, and then you're gonna like hit him forever and keep healing. Lol. Really, bro. Pulverize moved from level 16. Slow amount. Wow, they just swapped everything. Pulverize even more slow and even earlier. That's big. That's a really big. I think Cass should play it again. And all these a level later. Interesting. Wow. Big buffs. Maybe I play some stitches today too. Tyrael. Enemy each... Whoa! Now typically you'll only hit one. So don't get too excited. Don't get too excited. I don't care. I love it. I'm gonna use this trait. Okay, cool. Ardent Restoration. I mean, this is only gonna be like, what, 5 seconds at the most. Most likely. Like 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Still, cool though. Ardent Restoration is bad. I still wouldn't pick it. You just go Justice for All, shielding your allies for more. Tyrael's level 20 talents have been reordered to follow normal conventions. Okay, that's just order things, right? Defense of the Angels, active. Activate to gain 50 armor for 3 seconds. Each time Tyrael damages an enemy hero with a basic attack or ability, increase the duration of this armor bonus by half a second. Oh, so it's kind of like an active hardened shield. Interesting. That's a lot less basic attack damage. Holy dog. But I mean, a hero like Deathwing that's universally reviled and popular should be 48% win rate. And only good players should be able to get value from him. I'm still gonna ban him though. Because people are still gonna pick freaking Leoric Malthael, even though they're melee and will take max damage from him. Instead of taking Vala Li Ming or whatever, who can just like dance circles around him and damage him for free. Anyway, that's a pretty big nerf, man. Nerf. Skyfall, less healing. Maybe I let him get through the draft. Anyway, I'm not the banner. It's Cass's call. Throwing Shade. No longer has a quest component. Now is straight up a cooldown reduction. And the mana cost of Death Shroud does cost a little bit more. Wow. That's the drawback. Costs more mana. Tormented Souls is still a very, very, very boring ult. But you can cast that boring ult more often. So if you have sleeping problems, you can use this very frequently. And cooldown increase. Okay. Abathur. Locust Strain. Bonus damage. Thank God. That's a toxic play style. Prolific Dispersal. No longer increases the range. Good. Duration. Okay. So he needs to risk himself more to backdoor keeps. It's interesting that they didn't see this coming. They literally buff the cool, uninteractive playstyle of Abathur, where it's gonna be like, oh, we want this new build that like nobody loved playing against. But yeah, he still has Mule. But this is good. Like they can still do this strat, but it's more risky. They should have done this right away, but props to them. I think this is good changes. Wow, big Zarya changes. Near the center, they also get slowed. That's a small slow, but very long. 2 seconds for something that has 4 charges. Good job. Explosive barrier is already my favorite, my second favorite. Energy requirement for bonus attack size. This is kind of bad, but it's funny. It's cool. It's bad though. Hit me. Okay. 4 buffs on our level 7. Bigger radius of expulsion. Plasma shock gone. Clear out. No longer increases the radius of expulsion zone, but it does reduce the cooldown of expulsion zone. It's been a long time since we made some serious changes to Zarya, so these changes should shake things up a bit for her. Plasma shock in particular was not seeing much play, so we're rolling its functionality into pinpoint accuracy. Cool. I think plasma shock was 35% if I recall correctly. Not 100% sure. Less basic attack damage, which will also affect her hope generation. Less damage, which will also influence her hope generation. And resurrect, longer cooldown, and delay. Okay. It's still cool that she can resurrect herself, but they've now nearly rolled back everything that they buffed about it. But she can still resurrect herself. I think it's a valid choice again to go either Aegis or Aegis or resurrect. Rejuvenation. Casting regrowth on an ally also grants Malfurion its effect. That has a lot of potential synergy with talents like the level 20 talent. Its effect though, is it a regrowth? The level 20 talent that gives 10% max health heal to a target that you queue, does that also apply to himself? They don't say talented or untalented here. Its effect is not casting a half-time regrowth. So from this, yes, I did another hell again about 20 minutes ago. It's probably a talented one. So that gives him bonus movement speed, bonus max health heal from the 20. So it's a pretty big buff. But what did it used to do? Oh yeah. Gain health regeneration per target. Yeah. Revitalize. Yeah, I don't think Cassia usually takes this. Ysero's gift now has crit kickers when bonus healing is applied. Uther less health. Longer cooldown on stun, so I was correct in that assumption. Less of a stun machine. And Holy Shock, less damage. Okay. I think that's good nerfs. Cruel Chain, they reworked it again. Umbral Bind grants movement speed. Hey Cass, wanna play out? Some changes to Azmodan too.
I saw that.
Are you happy with them? I haven't seen them yet.
It's the E-talents.
Yeah, I expected them to address them, but you don't really use those.
Yeah, I mean, you always use them, but you don't choose them.
Yeah. Oh, you use it, but don't choose the talents, yeah. Thank you, Anne. So we have some curry. I have a very nice dish here called curry prata. So this is the curry. We made this last night. It's courgette, cauliflower, leek, and a number of other things in a curry and fish. And this is prata. It's a kind of bread-based, quite oily, super tasty Indian Singaporean style flatbread. It's not like it's a bit like naan, but it's a bit less fluffy and a bit more. It has a bit of a bite. It's a bit of a mix between naan and croissant. Cruel Chain. Umbral Bind now grants 25% movement speed for 2.5 seconds. In addition, each time Maiev deals damage to tethered targets, Umbral Bind's pool damage to all targets is increased by 30% up to 150. This is a reversion to Cruel Chain's previous functionality before last balance patch. Also, they just made it... Hey, super big props to completely revert to something that they changed. People that played Maiev hated. They go back to version 1. This is so good. Azmodan. Since Cassandra just came in, when are you gonna play 2-on-2 Warcraft with her? This Friday, STX. On Single Awareness Day. We're gonna play double webcam. We're gonna start with Warcraft 2-on-2, and then we're gonna play HotS 2-on-2. Well, 5-on-5. Trample was moved forward from 20. Deals more damage and slows people more. LOL. But as Cassandra says, this is a very important talent to do Q damage. So I don't think she'll be taking it, but maybe some people will. Less mana? Are they buffing Azmodan just for Azmodan? Since Grasp went to level 20, now only grants benefits when hitting enemy heroes. Final slow amount increased from 45 to 50%. Lol. And longer. Bit of an awkward spot. Cool. Very interesting. Phoenix. Inhibiting energy, W. Inhibiting energy slow can now spread from itself. Wait. Before, you only got the slow if you W'd someone that was already slowed. Then you got the big slow. What does it mean, spread from itself? It just means you can apply the slow yourself with your W, right? I think so. Emergency protocol. When you run out of shield, you get bonus movement speed. The second circle is buffed. Okay. It's not a circle. It's the auto attack. The face bomb. So the first face bomb doesn't slow, but the second one does? Oh, keep slowing. Ah, you still need to pre-prep it with a Q, but now you can keep slowing yourself. When you keep Wing them. It's a shorter duration, but if you W them, they keep being slowed for 35%. That's really strong. While Phoenix has shields from Shield Capacitor, he gains 10%. When he has no shields, 15. Voila. Voila. Level 4, he has bonus 10% movement speed all the time and not just 30% when he runs out. And he's 15 when he runs out. This is really, really, really good. That's a huge buff. Most toons get their movement speed later. Vala gets it at level 1, but you need 10 stacks. Zul'jin gets it at level 13. Phoenix now gets it at level 4. Mm-hmm. This is Cassandra's talent. That's a nerf, that's a buff. This is my talent. There's Cassandra's talent. But I like Ice Fury 1 too at 7, which is retroactively buffed because of Snowstorm. Small little buffs, nerfs. Veteran Marksman now deals 1% bonus damage per stack. That's good. This talent was an underperformer. Ace in the Hole is now... Oh! Wow, they applied the unstable compound to Ace in the Hole. So you can self-proc for 2.5 seconds. With a small slow, you can get your 15% bonus damage more easily. That's a big deal. Damage bonus increased from 50 to 75 for Exterminator. This is the PvE. And 100 from... Wow! He's gonna be really, really, really good at taking mercs, killing the Immortal, and taking bosses. This is huge. Ginormous. So Raynor will be a top pick on Battlefield of Eternity, I would say. I think he's gonna shred that Immortal, that by the time he's done with it, people are gonna refer to it as the Immortal. You know what I mean? Killable. Unstable compound no longer adds a slow. Enemy heroes hit by Give 'em some pepper. Grant Raynor 10 mana. Huh. And the cooldown of penetrating round is reduced, and Inspire too, by 1 second. Oh no, are you freaking kidding me? We like how it's playing? How do you know? No one is playing it. They got like one QA guy whose job it is to play Hammer. No one is playing Hammer. That is a lie. Anyway, just having fun, right? Alright, cool. Well, very cool, very cool. Let's go play some HotS.